So, hello everyone. This is Shahaf, CEO for COTI, and we have some very special people from the Cardano Foundation with us. Guys, please introduce yourself. Maybe Mel, you can start.
Sure. My name is Mel McCann. I'm based in Ireland. I'm the head of technical integrations for the Cardano Foundation, and that means I primarily deal with third-party integrations and exchanges from a technical perspective.
Thank you.
Firster, project manager at Cardano Foundation, and I help to manage partnerships from a commercial point of view, where we focus on, with Cardano and our partners, the total volume and the total quality of on-chain activity.
Thank you. And these guys have been super helpful in helping COTI build AdaPay for the Shelley MainNet. They know everything there is to know on what's going on with ADA and Cardano these days, and they'll tell us more about this in a few seconds. I'll just start off by thanking you guys for believing in us, and we've just recently became full-on partners, much more than just your average crypto partnership. C-Fund, the Cardano's ecosystem, venture capital has just made its first investment, and it's COTI, and we're super proud about it.
Yeah, congratulations for being the first recipient of funds from the C-Fund. That's a great accomplishment, and everyone in the Cardano ecosystem is very happy to have you here. I mean, our partnership with COTI with Cardano Foundation, began, I believe, in 2019 as the first payment gateway solution. Maybe Mel, as our head of technical integrations, if you'd like to start off by talking about to the COTI audience what Cardano is up to.
Sure, absolutely. So what's happened in the last year? So when we started talking to COTI initially, we then approached the Shelley hard fork, and that was introducing delegation and staking and decentralization of the network, going from federated network to decentralized. And then we had the Allegra hard fork, and now we had the Merry hard fork in February. So along this journey, we reconnected with COTI, and we've been working together to, ensure most up-to-date integration possible. Going forward, we'll see where that goes. But one of the things that we did release in the last hard fork was native assets, which I think is a very exciting new feature, and it also allows you to do NFTs.
So native assets and NFTs are, of course, big things. Can you maybe dig a bit deeper for the COTI audience to tell us more about what that means and how it can be used?
Smart thing. So on Cardano, a native asset is actually in the transaction level. On other blockchains, you might use smart contracts to create like an ERC20 token or an equivalent on a different network. But with Cardano, it's actually at the same level as ADA, which means it benefits from all the security and the stability that ADA has already. And it's also cheap and fast to send, which gives it a distinct advantage over its smart contract counterparts. As far as NFTs go, NFTs are native assets. You limit the supply of the native asset and lock it, and then it becomes a unique non-fungible token. Like I said, it's at the same level embedded in the actual transaction.
Yeah, I mean, why that's important is because that kind of makes Cardano like the first multi-asset blockchain, where we have the native cryptocurrency, ADA, and now we have these things called native assets. Any asset, and you can consider ADA an asset as well, they all benefit in the same way. And you can actually send multiple assets within the same transaction itself. So you can imagine in the future with AdaPay, AdaPay could somehow evolve to Cardano Pay, where you want to send somebody a stable coin, an NFT, and ADA in one transaction. And that's never amazing. Really been done before. Yeah, because we don't need to use smart contracts to send any given asset. So that allows you to do this grouping and make a combined transaction.
Understood. So native assets are not tokens. They're not tokenized assets. They don't have the same relationship like let's say BNB and BEP20 or ETH and ERC20. They reside on the same level, which opens up a lot of possibilities and efficiency, of course.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
That's great. And
yeah,
can he, oh, sorry, go ahead, Jeremy.
Well, I just wanted to then kind of allude then, that Cardano is no longer in this dormant phase of research, right? While there is still ongoing research being done, I think now we've gotten close to, or maybe even over 100 peer-reviewed papers, we have active features. So we have, more than 2,000 stake pools that are operating with Ouroboros proof of stake algorithm. We have the ability to have, metadata on our transactions, which we have seen recently with the supply chain track and trace solution that's been released. And all of this new activity is having this resurgence in demand for ADA globally. And that was kind of a leading factor in wanting to review with COTI the ADA Pay solution, because we're getting asked almost every day, and definitely every week, about people want to use ADA as a payment. And what they don't want to do is they don't want to have to sell their ADA and then take fiat currency and use that as the payment. And what we see here is, why I brought up metadata is because we have a lot of these stake pools. And stake pools are the block producers of Cardano. We have over 2,000 stake pool operators currently today that are securing and producing blocks on the network. And there is a smaller number of them, which is closer to maybe around 60 to 100, which are mission-driven pools. And as a mission-driven pool, they're not just producing blocks to have a financial reward. They take a portion of their rewards, maybe it's 100%, 50, 25%, and they want to use that for social good and for a charitable cause. And we've seen that we have some great stake pools that are donating to projects in Africa, such as the Water Project, or it is for impoverished kids in their home countries, like in Western nations, or it's for the arts or humanities, or even for climate control. There's really no limit to the creativity that we have in our ecosystem of mission-driven pools. And yeah, again, what they really want is that on-chain solution to where they submit ADA, but they can also have that transparency with metadata attached that says this ADA is being used for this particular organization. And we don't have that.
I understand, and it's super exciting. I want to circle back a bit to a point where you said that every day people ask you about paying with ADA, and which will bring us to my next question. Why now? Why do we need ADA Pay now, and what do you see as the immediate use case for that?
I mean, there's a website called Cardano Hubs, and this is a community-led initiative by the Cardano Hotel and a guy named Alfred, a great member of our community where everyone enjoys. There's over 100 companies that have stated that they can accept ADA for their business. But currently the way they do that is with using our Yoroi or our Daedalus wallet. We also have a lot of interest as well, with stake pools, they want to send a charitable organization ADA. But when you come to now an institutional level, the question is, well, how do you actually enable this at scale? And while we would like for everyone in the world to have an official Cardano wallet, be it the Yoroi mobile or the Daedalus, which is for the desktop, we do have that realization that that's not exactly a institutional solution. And I think this is really where ADA Pay and COTI really shine through.
Yes, well, getting into that, payments is more than just transmitting value, right? So like if I say it's a peer-to-peer transaction, like giving, some money to my friend, this is not exactly a payment. It can be classified as payment, but this is not what we're trying to solve at scale. Payment means licenses. So the ability, not anybody can facilitate payments. You need to have proper licenses. It means tracking and history, because you will need to pay taxes accordingly. And obviously, for all the obvious reasons, you want to be able to look back at your transaction volume and history and realize what's what and be able to report that to your local authorities. It also means client management, like a proper CRM. Any proper payment system comes with a dedicated CRM that understands that this is not a peer-to-peer transaction. And I guess this is why any given day when you pay a merchant, you're using a payment system and not just, the merchant is not just taking your money and putting it in its wallet. Only in some extreme cases, I guess. But in most cases, go through a payment system, and this is why, and this is what we're building. And I like that term, like as an institution level solution, and not just a peer-to-peer transaction, and this is why it is different. I know, Charles talks about this a lot, about building, big projects and developing countries in Africa, South America. I'm aware of another project in Eastern Europe. And I guess these sort of solutions down the line will also be required, because payment is everywhere. We transmit value all the time. We transmit information all the time, and this will be required. Maybe this is a good opportunity to show what we have been developing with AdaPay so far. So let me just present a short video. As we've seen, it's a simple solution. It looks a lot like maybe like a system everybody intuitively knows how to use, kind of like PayPal or any other payment system. What you don't see is the behind the scenes. So this can be easily embedded in a website or in a mobile device, maybe down the line in a point of sale system. And the merchant also gets his CRM, AdaPay for Business, in which he can filter through and see all of his transactions. Any more comments on this?
It looks wonderful.
Thank you, Jeremy.
This is definitely what you have had heard Charles refer to before as CCCI, or Cardano Commercially Critical Infrastructure. Because while there still may be a peer-to-peer payments happening in Africa, in other emerging markets, and every country in the world, you still need the commercially critical components to have that, regulated market adoption or mass market adoption. And this is a very core example of, spearheading that front and bringing Cardano into these mass markets.
Thank you for your kind words, and we're happy to be, part of this journey. Maybe looking a bit into the future. You've mentioned in a conversation NFT as a form of payment. Can you explain what you had in mind when you were talking about that? Because for me, this was the first time I heard this, and it really blew my mind, like the opportunities around this.
Well, again, I think it all comes down to one simple fact with Cardano is that the transfer of NFTs, of non-fungible tokens, but everyone, when they commonly think of NFTs today, they're thinking about digital assets, right? So these type of digital assets, we don't require a smart contract to transfer them. And this is kind of almost like a paradigm shift in terms of the accessibility that people have in transferring the ownership of this. And that comes as well then with, different solutions for that, because we're not talking about just a smart contract, 100%, blockchain native DeFi solution here for how to move these assets back and forth to different companies. And then secondly, it's again broadening the definitions of what is an NFT. NFT represents, a non-fungible token, which could be a digital asset. It could be a ticket for a concert. It could be reward points or a loyalty program. And all of that still needs to have a payment system in place when we're talking about a business to business or even on a government level environment. So that's really why I was talking about that as kind of, an area that will naturally be explored on Cardano. I mean, what we see right now with some people is there are successful NFT campaigns that's happened, like Space Buds or Crypto Bits or Cardano Kids even, and the list kind of goes on from there. With like I think Dr. Professor is another one. They're not using smart contracts. They're organizing themselves on Discord to do their like peer-to-peer trading, and that's a great kind of example of what's being done at the grassroots level that will need to be replicated between enterprises and merchants to have that same like process being done, but with regulations in place and proper accounting and reporting and management of this. Because there is another conversation here to be had, which is, well, how do you own a crypto asset? And not everyone in the world wants to manage their own wallets or wants to go through exchanges. So having this solution from AdaPay, where all that is managed for the customers, it's
just easy.
Yeah.
Yeah, just easy, and that means adoption. And I can think of this example. Maybe Coca-Cola is doing a campaign for the new edition of Coke they have out there, and they give away these ADA-based NFTs to their users, to their AdaPay app. And you can go to your store and get, maybe 20% discount, or maybe just get a can for free. And you transfer this NFT to your store operator, and he gives you the Coke. This is like a form of payment done completely on chain. This is a new possibility that exists, now, and this is amazing. Like the sort of things that you can do, knowing how point of sale and store operates. Doing this today on the current infrastructure is just inefficient at best, and you can't do these sort of things at scale without them being expensive. And so it's a brave new world. Maybe one last thing, take me through, you've mentioned there are stake pools with missions. Do you think that merchants would like to accept ADA as a form of payment and then delegate it to their mission, to what they want to donate to as part of their payment system?
This is kind of what I would view as a circular flow economy. It's really a great opportunity for merchants that accept ADA. And meaning that when you accept ADA, there's two things you can do, right? You can instantly convert that for your local currency, or you can hold on to it as to participate in the network. And if you want to participate, then you can delegate that to a stake pool to earn a staking rewards as these stake pools are producing blocks and earning that reward for securing the network. And it doesn't have to be a mission-driven pool. It can be any stake pool that is working, to support Cardano. And we have a number of single stake pool operators, which are these individuals or these small groups, which are working hard to secure the blockchain, but are still in needing of funds. So if it's idle funds that are just sitting in a merchant's account, for more than 30 days, that's missed additional ADA that you could be earning if you're just staking with a pool for 30 days.
Absolutely. So let's make this comparison right now. So let's say I'm a merchant. I process credit cards, okay, from a consumer. So the flow is the user comes in with a credit card, he swipes, I pay, depending on various factors, but anywhere between 0.3% to 2.5% fee to the credit card company. I wait for my money, again, depending on who and what, but anywhere from 2 days to 28 days. When the money comes in, it's fiat, which is these days a declining asset with all the money being printed. So that's option one. Option two is I'm willing to accept ADA as a form of payment. So the consumer comes in, he pays with ADA Pay. I immediately get my money. The fees are negligible, and I can stake it and actually get a reward instead of a declining asset. So that's the comparison right there, right?
I think you said it best. It's somewhat similar to, earning interest in a bank account, but that's another analogy to have here. And it also then helps to increase the adoption of Cardano beyond just payments. It helps to bring in more adoption with merchants or with charitable organizations who value the social good of ADA and the social good of Cardano, and want to find a way to participate, not just by holding ADA as a financial asset, but when you're staking it, you're actually actively participating in the security of Cardano, which is another element to staking, which is often underlooked, is that it's part of the utility function of participating in the Cardano ecosystem.
Yes, no, absolutely. This is what crypto is all about. Super exciting. So I guess just what probably a lot of people would like to know right now is okay. So when ADA Pay? We're working on it, of course. We're working on it with the Cardano team. They're building their end. We're building ours. We're integrating, and I think it's safe to say that no later than May we'll be able to deploy. I know we already have a few merchants in mind and some causes as well. We won't say who and what right now. We'll keep some things as a surprise. But for those who view it out there, it's closer than ever, and we're super excited to be part of this.
Absolutely, and we're super excited to be along for the ride as well.
That's great, guys. I won't take more of your precious time. Thanks a lot. We look forward to speak soon.
Awesome, thank you.
Thank you, and a big thank you to the COTI community.
Thank you, guys, and for those in ADA's community watching, you're more than welcome to drop by and see what we're doing.